Hello, it's Glenn Crothers, and today it's my great pleasure to talk to Carly Johnson, whose quintet will be playing at the Café in Paristown on Sunday, March 30th at 7 p.m. as part of the Louisville Jazz Society's signature series. Hi, Carly. It's great to talk to you today.
Good to talk to you too, Glenn.
Great. So you're born and raised in Louisville, right?
Not born,
Ah,
pretty much raised. I've been here since I was 7, so I definitely
ah,
feel that I'm a Louisvillian. But all my family's from the Chicago area, and I was born in Peoria, actually.
So
Yeah,
you moved up coming to Louisville then? No.
that's
Uh,
right.
So when did you decide, when did you start singing? And when did you decide that you want to make it music, your full-time pursuit?
I think I always knew in my little kid heart that I always wanted to do this for a living. I've been singing since, I don't know, 3 years old. My mom said I was whistling when I was 2. But I've always had like immense stage fright, so I hid it from people as long as I could. I would only sing by myself, and I joined, and obviously I'm obsessed with music, so I joined the band in middle school and elementary school. I played sax because that's what Lisa Simpson did. So I was like, well, I got to do that. And I hid behind saxophone for quite a while. And it wasn't until I joined choir in high school that I was like the most public with singing. And that's where I had just a really great teacher who pushed me and was just like, listen, you need to do this solo. And I'm like, I don't want to do a solo. And that's why, I can't express enough how important it is to have a good mentor when you're younger. So joining choir in high school kind of got me out of my shell a little bit. And at that point, I was like, I know I want to be a singer. If I'm going to be a singer, I got to sing. So I was like, my plan was to go to college for singing because if I went to college for singing, then I would have to sing. So I did. And I went to college in Philadelphia at the University of the Arts and kind of reinvented and just told myself that I wasn't afraid and just made myself do it.
Did your teachers at the University of Arts kind of pull you out of your shell as well? Did that experience
I
help
think a
pull you out of your
little bit,
shell?
yeah, for sure. I think more than anything, though, I pulled myself out of my shell just by putting myself in that program because, to be in a singing program, you have to sing. So I just kind of faked it. I was just like, I'm not nervous. I'm doing this. I think they picked up on that a little bit, but and so they would kind of nudge me into opportunities of doing more solo stuff, and I would start to do that. But it's how I got out of my shell and committed to myself that I was going to do it.
Well, you
And,
certainly,
oh, go ahead.
sorry,
Sorry.
sorry. Well, since you returned from Philadelphia, you certainly have had a busy career. In 2014, you released a duo album with guitarist Craig Wagner, and of course, you can see you guys sing around town all the time. It's been great to have that here. And you've sang with the Liberation Prophecy.
Yeah.
Sort of how would you describe that? A folk jazz collective of
Oh,
some
yeah,
sort?
totally. It's just totally Jacob, and it's just every music genre that you love squeezed into one. It's so unique and special. And I loved being in that because I felt more like an instrument than a front person. So
Right.
it's nice to just kind of like lay back and see what Jacob's vision was and try to just best make that happen.
And then in 2020, you released your self-titled solo debut, Carly
Yeah.
Johnson. Um, uh, can you tell me something about your musical evolution that brought you to that solo record? When did you decide that I need to produce a record of my own songs, or mostly my own songs?
I think I always wanted to do that, but I was really intimidated by the songwriting process. And I remember in college, my roommate Charlotte, who was also a vocal major that I'm still great friends with today, she was a songwriter. And I was just like, oh, I wish I could do that. And she was like, you can, you just have to try. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try. And I finally sat down, and that's when I started writing some things in college. And then by the time I got out, I just really wanted to express myself. And I called Charlotte, who is in San Diego now, and I was like, "Do you want to write a record together?" Because I loved working with her, and it had been a while since we spent like an immense amount of time together. So I was hoping that our chemistry would be good, but you just don't really know, and we're long distance. So I was able to fly out a couple times, and we just like went at it for like 2 weekends within 4 months and like wrote the whole thing. Had started to get these ideas at home. I'd be like cooking breakfast and like a hook would get in my head and I'd like run to my piano and bang it out and get a voice memo of it. And so I came to San Diego with all these concepts, and I was really into the choruses and the hooks and stuff, and then I'd get bored on the verses and be like, Charlotte, what do you hear here? And that kind of thing.
Right.
But it was such a great process. I really enjoyed writing. And I'm
Huh.
writing again, so I'm
Well,
working on my
that's,
second
I
album.
was going to ask you, given the great experience and the great product that came from that first record, what's in the works for your next record?
Well, thank you for saying that. That's very nice. Yeah, I'm digging in and I'm writing by myself right now. I do love a lot of collaboration when it comes to the production side of things. Most of the production was done by myself and also by Charlotte last time, but I'm really enjoying the idea of getting some more brains in there because I think, the more you can change up the sound and get other ideas going on, that's when you really create something special. I'm trying not to get so hung up on like being the person that writes the whole thing and produces the whole thing and has it recorded just like this. And I'm very interested in collaboration right now. I'm definitely kind of being precious with me wanting to be the most of the songwriting. But I'm excited to see what's going to come of this because I think it's going to be a little more stripped down, not as many pieces in the band, a little simpler to get to the
Where,
root of the
are you
songs
recording
about.
this all locally?
I don't know yet. I don't know
Uh,
because I'm still in the writing process. We'll see.
uh, well, we leave us all tingling with anticipation.
Well, thank you.
I look forward to seeing what you come up with, especially the idea of the strip down. That sounds like it'll be a really different approach to what you did with the first record.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So tell me about the band that you put together for the show on March 30th. Who are the players and why'd you choose them?
Because they're so lovely to be around and just some of the best in town. And I wanted some strong women in there as well. And so we have Jalen Noel on bass. Super excited. Her sound is just like I've been playing with her a couple of years now, and I'm just like when you kind of start with people when they're starting out and you get to hear them grow, it's really exciting. And the last gig I played with her, I was just like, oh, Jalen, your sound is just so good. It's so strong and it has such a great personality. So I'm really excited about that. And Megan Pund on flute and some sax. I'm excited about the flute. We also have Zach Kennedy on drums, who is just lovely and so intuitive. And Wynton Reynolds, who I love playing with. He's also very intuitive and doesn't get mad when my phrasing lays back so much because that's just who I am.
So you're basically playing here with Louisville jazz royalty.
That's right.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
And of course, Witten is the president of our jazz society, so he's got
Yeah.
many pots boiling at the same time.
Yes.
So what kind of repertoire have you put together? Is your band putting together for this much show on March 30th? What can the audience expect to hear?
So definitely all the goodies from the classic American songbook. I wanted to delve into, since it is Women's History Month, I wanted to delve into some specific pieces that were written by women. I wish there were more, but I did find some that are already my favorites. So Billie Holiday, she's a great songwriter. She's known for, God Bless the Child and Fine and Mellow, which is a really great blues of hers that I love to do. And then another person that I kind of forget about that I stumbled upon is Dorothy Fields. She's a great lyricist. And I didn't even know that she was the lyricist for On the Sunny Side of the Street and The Way You Look Tonight. And so we have especially Sunny Side of the Street, we have a really unique arrangement of that Wynton put this spin on that I'm really excited for.
So any of your own music, or you'll be focusing on the songbook?
I think so. I think we might have a couple of my originals, but I want that to be more of a surprise. So if you want to hear something or you think you might, you have to come see. We might do it, we might not. You'll have to it's up to you. You got to get that ticket.
Just tantalize the audience with
That's right.
with I just you have such an eclectic musical background. I've seen you sing in so many different settings, so I always wonder what Carly am I going to hear on this show? Yeah.
I feel that way sometimes. Yeah, I'm so steeped in so many different things as far as listening goes. But I think that's one thing I want to say about jazz that I love so much is that jazz has given me the freedom to sound like myself. Because I think when you're first starting out, you're kind of trying to find what is my sound. Maybe you're playing around, you're imitating because you're nervous or whatever. But the beauty of jazz, since it is just sheer self-expression, it has completely let me find my voice, and I appreciate that so much.
You know, you're not the first musician who's told me that.
Really. Okay.
Yeah, that jazz is freedom,
Not surprised.
and the chance to find your own voice. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So the show. I mean, and that's the other thing. As I said, when I've seen you do different kinds of things, but it all seems to be rooted in sort of this jazz base.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, jazz, honestly, Etta James, who is not, a traditional jazz singer, she's more of the soul blues side of things. She led me to jazz, but that was, kind of the first voice I heard when I was in high school that brought me to the place of jazz because she had a jazz standards album and I'd already loved her kind of soul pop stuff. And then I kept exploring and I found her jazz record and I was just like, wait a minute, this is really cool too. And then she brought me to Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald, and it was history.
And there was no going back after that.
No, no going back.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad that we're going to have the chance to hear you and your quintet on Sunday, March 30th. Again, the Louisville Jazz Society signature series show for Women's History Month, as you noted, is Carly Johnson and her quintet. Shows at 7 p.m. Tickets are $20 for non-members and $15 for members, and we've been selling out on a regular basis. So I encourage people to get those tickets early. It'll be a great show with Carly and her quintet. Thanks so much for talking to me.
Very welcome. I'm really looking forward to it.